Hello everyone. In the last video, we will discuss what are the topics about the core Java and advanced Java. Now we will discuss the topics about the Spring and Spring Boot. And first of all, we'll go to the Spring. First, we will discuss what is the framework, and then we'll discuss the features of a Spring. So, dependency injection, inversion of control, aspect-oriented programming. Those are the features of a Spring. And then Spring modules. And then Spring versions. What are the versions of the Spring? Advantages of Spring. Why it is preferred over the Java EE. And then Java versus Spring. We'll discuss the differences. Spring core module. This is the base module of the Spring. Java Bean. It is a very important topic. And then dependency injection. It's also a very important topic. In interview, they will ask about the dependency injection. There were various types of dependency injection like setter injection, constructor injection, and so on. And then Spring IOC container. Spring Bean Factory. It's a Bean Factory method. Spring application context. Then we will write the first code of the Spring core module. The types of dependency injections. I already told now the setter injection, constructor injection, and then bean wiring. And then auto wiring. In the auto wiring, we will discuss the various topics like we will use the attributes by name, by type, and so on. And then bean scopes. In the bean scopes, we will use the singleton scope, prototype scope, request scope, and then we will move through some of the annotations. At the rate bean, at the rate component, at the rate component span. At the rate scope, at the rate auto wide. In the previous one, we will write the logics, but now we will use the annotations. At the rate qualifier. At the rate primary. At present in the market, Spring Boot is famous and not the Spring. But to know the Spring Boot, we need to learn the Spring also. Types of dependency injection with annotations. And then we will go to Spring JDBC. We will connect the Oracle database and we will perform some various operations, code operations. And then we will look into methods of the Spring JDBC template class. Then we will start under the Spring module, Spring JPA. Spring Core, Spring JDBC, Spring JPA are the modules in the Spring. JPA stands for Jakarta Persistent API. And then we will introduce to ORM, Object Relational Mapping. And then entity classes. And then Spring JPA repository. We will do the configuration for the JPA. We will write the code, configuration code. We will introduce to Hibernate, some methods in Hibernate. Spring Data JPA contains some custom query repo methods also. Native queries and JPQL queries. JPQL is a language similar to the SQL. It's alternate language to SQL. And then we will introduce to Spring MVC. It's another Spring module. In the Spring MVC, we will discuss dispatcher servlet and Spring MVC flow, how the application flow will happen in the Spring MVC. And we will discuss some of the annotations like request mapping. And then we will introduce to web services. So REST. Stateless communication. There are two types of communication, stateless and stateful communication. Jackson API. In Jackson API, we will convert the JSON to Java and Java to JSON. It's an inbuilt one. It's a dependency. We will add the dependency and we will convert it. Service layer. And then repository layer. Repository layer deals with the database operations. And then we will move to Spring Security. It's another module in the Spring. And in Spring Security, we will focus on the authentication and authorization. First, we will know what is authorization and authentication. And then we will proceed to RBAC, role-based access control. Based on the user role, based on that role, the users can get the access to web application. We will write the code also for that one. Stateless and stateful protocols. And then we will move to the JWT authentication. It's a very important one. In companies, they will implement a JWT authentication and OAuth authentication. We will go through both JWT authentication and authorization. And in security, we will go through And these are all the topics we will cover in the future regarding the Spring framework. And then let's proceed to Spring Boot. What are the topics present in Spring Boot? Spring Boot. It's a very popular framework. To get a job, we need to learn the Spring Boot and microservices. Then everyone can get the job. First, we will discuss about the Spring and Spring Boot, the differences between the Spring and the Spring Boot, why we need to learn the Spring Boot instead of Spring, why Spring Boot has developed. And to develop the Spring Boot application, we use the Spring Initializer. And then we will learn the Maven, why we need to use the Maven. In reality, they will companies they will use the Maven or Gradle. Depend on the project, they will use the Maven or Gradle. But in this one, we will discuss only the Maven. And then we will introduce to Spring Boot starters. We can add the Spring Boot starter web, Spring Boot or dev tools, and so on. We need to add the dependencies in the pom.xml. These are Spring Boot dev tools and starters. Then internally they will be implemented. And then we will go through the bean lifecycle methods. And then JPA. Already we discussed in the Spring, the same concepts here also present. And then REST API. Only we need to use the annotations in the Spring Boot. Other than that, nothing will change. Spring REST service. And JPA repository. And Spring REST data. It's a dependency. We'll call it as Spring data REST. And then we will proceed to Spring Boot security, authentication and authorization. In the Spring data REST, we will go through some of the concepts like configuration, pagination, sorting. We will implement all the things in the programmatical way. In the authentication authorization, we will do the in-memory authentication and JDBC authentication. We will do all the practically. And then we will introduce to time list. It's we will use time list in the HTML. For the front end, we will use time list. Java is a backend now. For the front end, we will use the time list. And Spring MVC validation. And then we'll use the custom access denial page. We'll do it practically. And then we'll introduce to database supporting Spring security. We need to add the Oracle drivers. Like that stuff. And then in the JPA, there were advanced mappings were present, one to one, one to many, many to many. In data if you know the database like Oracle or MySQL, you can know the concepts like one-to-one mapping, one-to-many, primary key, foreign key. We will discuss all the stuff. JPA, Hibernate, advanced mapping. It's a in-depth concept into one-to-many. We will write the Java codes for this many-to-many. Then we will go through OR. It's the last topic on the Spring Boot. That's it. We will discuss the later concepts in the next video. This is my LinkedIn profile. You can follow me on the LinkedIn also. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you.